Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for February 23rd, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 8. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI, who will arrive at some point, we talk about 5 automotive-related articles, automotive technology. Today, we're going to be talking about the Honda Hornet, Lamborghini Electric Revuelto, the Acura hybrid attempts, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 XRT, and all-weather tires. That and maybe some snark. I don't know. Maybe other things. Anyway, everything's powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen. Then follow us here on Twitch and on YouTube. Or do it the other way around. Follow us here on Twitch and YouTube, and then go over and become a citizen at ohmtown.com. If you are entertained by our 5 articles, or Monday through Friday, we actually do 10 articles in Non Sequitur news. These 3 shows that we do on Saturday and 3 different shows on Sunday become the weekend editions of Non Sequitur news, where it's 15 articles. If you enjoy all of this, then just subscribe to us everywhere. And you can download the podcast as well. There's a Patreon, a Discord, TikTok, YouTube shorts are going up regularly now. Maybe regularly. I don't know. Anyway. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
So we got all 5 of these articles all set up. I thought that these were pretty interesting. A lot of them are coming from Jalopnik, which is one of the sources that we aggregate from. And we only get a little snippet of it. So it kind of teases us into going over to the article. And I do the same thing with all of the viewers, listeners. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe, follow us. Everything okay over there?
Yes, the critters have emerged in hometown.
Gotcha. So the first article is the U.S. is finally getting the Honda Hornet 750 and the CB1000 SP. According to a report, we could see the XL 750 Transalp, as well as the CB1000 SP, the NT 1100, and maybe even an E-clutch variant of the Rebel 300 very soon. These are
They use the Sony naming conventions.
Yeah, it's not just a name, it's some weird engineering spec that's bolted onto it. But these are all motorcycles of various breadths and widths, girths, or whatever you want to refer to it as. The article, again, is over at jalopnik.com. It's by Amber Da Silva. And so they're talking about 3 new bikes, the CB750, Sans Hornet name, the CB1000 SP, and the NT 1100 as all being intended for the United States market. The NT 1100 isn't the third bike. There's a Rebel 300 that's mentioned too, but they don't say that it's destined. It's weird. They say here that these 3 are destined, but then they mention up on top a little bit.
It's like, is it really?
An E-clutch variant of the Rebel 300. I don't know. So I really love motorcycles. I used to ride when I was younger. I stopped riding when I got in touch with my mortality and changed things. I became risk averse to a greater degree. But yeah, you drop a bike once and you reevaluate. Anyway. So I used to like riding a whole lot more, particularly dirt bikes, but these kind of bikes are amazing. I love these style. So it says here that I think this is the Honda Rebel 300, which is more like a cafe racer style bike. It's not a race bike, it's not one of these high speed, out of control. Right. But it says here the VIN decoder that motorcycle.com spotted also had another oddity, a second variant of the Honda Rebel 300. If you want all of today's articles, by the way, you can hit ! And then FWT or FourWheelTech, FWT. And Omatron will throw out the article into the chat. Well, anyway, adding the E-clutch to the Rebel is a move that makes sense given Honda's decades-long desire to get more people on 2 wheels, though it remains to be seen whether American buyers will shell out for such tech on an entry-level bike. So instead of having to change gears the same conventional way, the e-clutch will allow you to change gears easier. Oh wow, the article actually transitions into another one underneath it, entirely alleged horse and buggy thief in way more trouble than if she had just stolen a car. I wonder if this is what we saw. Anyway, so we recently went to another location outside of ohmTown and saw a horse-drawn buggy. Anyway, that article has nothing to do with this article. So these big CB1000 SP and the NT1100 are really big bikes compared to the 750 and very much so to the Rebel 300. But if you're interested in learning how to ride a bike, don't go straight into these massive, super fast bikes. It's too much power and you need to ramp up to it. So start with the 300, get a considerable amount of time under your belt with the 300, this bike right there, and then migrate to the 750 and then migrate to the 1000 or 1100.
Well, I like the 300 the best for how the motorcycle looks.
Yeah, I like that style of bike too. It's much more comfortable than anything else. These you're hunched over more and you feel everything right on your butt. Anyway, or your legs, one or the other, something's going to get tired. But anyway, and I don't want to drive like that. This person has nothing protecting them from if their knee hits that road at that angle.
The cycle racing on the track.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where their knees are basically on the ground.
Yeah. And all I think about, I'm like, okay, hero, you're about to have to walk on one leg and a crutch because that's going to blow your knee out if you hit the ground. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wimp, right? All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Lamborghini catapults into the electrified supercar age with the Revuelto. We are effectively living in a post-horsepower world. In the roster of production cars offering quadruple-digit output figures continues to expand, and a growing number of garden variety vehicles now offer straight-line acceleration that would be exclusively supercar territory a decade ago. Serious thrust is what they say in this article. Serious thrust is quickly becoming an expectation rather than a rarefied experience. But this is all part and parcel to electrified cars. Internal combustion engines, ICE engines, need to spool up torque, and then you can hit the power and it takes off. But it's not 0 to 60 in 3 seconds unless it's some really light car with wide tires and a supercharged car, supercharged engine, and blah, 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 all kinds of stuff. But with electric cars, all you do is hit a button and off you go because it's instant on. So this trend might seem like an existential dilemma for an automaker with a legacy built on face-melting performance, but Lamborghini has never really been the type to obsess over the numbers. Sure, the Aventador SVJ set a production car lap record at the Nürburgring when was it? I don't know. We'll get to it. Anyway, Bradley Iger over at ArsTechnica.com put the article together, and they say that the Lamborghini improves on the Aventador in every way with Revuelto PHEV. So
it looks, I think, similar to the Aventador.
Yeah, to me it does too. I'm sure that there's some aficionado that says, "Oh, you two are complete idiots." But yeah, this car is just, I don't know. At some point, you're laying down in it. It's like a skeleton, right? Like you're face first and just.
Right. Yeah, the only way you're going to get into this is to recline, I think.
Yeah, you got to.
Like before you get into the car.
You got to get in those little creepers at the auto shop and just slide into it.
Exactly.
You know? It says that at almost 2 tons, the Revuelto is no lightweight despite extensive use of composites. Offering 814 horsepower, 535 foot-pounds of torque on its own, the new power plant is both the lightest and most capable or powerful V12 that Lamborghini has ever produced. It's matched up with a trio of electric motors, 2 axial flux units powering the front wheels, and another radial flux unit in the rear that's mounted above the Revuelto's new 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, the latter of which is now positioned behind the V12 instead of in front of it. This results in a total system output of 1,001 horsepower at 795 foot-pounds. Let's see here. I don't know if this says anything else about track specs. They say better ergonomics once you learn the wheel. The cabin is also a huge step forward with the Aventador in terms of both its design and technology found within it. In terms of the former, Lamborghini has done away with the Aventador's busy array of knobs, buttons, switches on the center console for a much cleaner look, aided in part by an 8.4-inch touchscreen.
Interesting, because that goes in the other direction. And although I guess that was at the lower price points where they're going away from infotainment systems.
Yeah, and they're actually doing away with all of it. They're just merging it into your phone. You plug in your phone and it becomes the console, which I am a true believer in. The problem there is that different phones have different capabilities. But there's some real buttons, real mechanical stuff in here. Still, I don't know what that button is right there. Oh, that's just the engine start and stop. Funny. Pardon. Sorry about that, folks. So it says that it's much more drivable. Revuelto is a quantum leap ahead of the Aventador in terms of drivability, aided in large part by its thoroughly modern 8-speed dual clutch transmission, where the Aventador's automated single clutch gearbox was unrefined and clumsy at low speeds with pronounced gaps in power delivery as it swapped cogs. The Revuelto shifts are seamless and nearly instantaneous. So the metallurgy in this car must be spectacular, because if it can go from, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, if not faster than that, I haven't been able to see that spec. It doesn't show that anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think it has it in here.
So it has 10 piston calipers in front. But for it to have an 8-speed transmission, this thing has to be, the metallurgy has to be pretty spectacular. Otherwise, you'd hit the gas and it would just shave off teeth. I just find it really amazing. So it says it's 4,200 pounds, 500 pounds more than the Aventador, but it seems nimbler, more eager to change direction, less prone to running wide if you're impatient with the throttle coming out of a slow corner. Yeah, they say 10 piston calipers up front. It's a $690,000 car. It says it's as tested with the gas guzzler tax and destination fee, $681,000.
Oh, is that all?
That's all.
I'm kidding, of course.
Oh, no, I'm not kidding. That's all. But it has the color that I like for a car nowadays. I really like a bold color or this matte gray. You just kind of blend in with the road and you don't get too much attention, but I think that you get a lot of attention in it. Well,
yeah, I think if you're driving this car, you're going to get some attention regardless of the color.
Yeah, people are going to be looking at you. Oh, look at the person with the $680,000 car. All right, let's keep going. This next car is over, or the next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Acura's previous attempts at hybrids were an underpowered compact, an efficient luxury sedan, and an SUV that handled like a car. So amid uncertainty in the EV market, Acura might be making hybrids again. So they're taking a look back at the past performance of Acura. Lawrence Hodge from Jalopnik put the article together. And it says here, Acura is no stranger to hybrid powertrains. So Acura ILX hybrid. I prefer hybrids.
Pretty plain Jane sedan.
Dry white toast in vehicular form, other than the fact that it's a hybrid.
Right, which is a plus. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I want a hybrid that has the ability to just use hydrogen cells. Just pull it out, put a new one in, off you go. Is it Yamaha that's doing that, or is it Who was doing that? Toyota?
With Yeah, it was Toyota with the little plug-in hybrid things.
The cylinders,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm sorry, the plug-in,
Okay.
can't think of what it
Use
was.
your words.
Fuel cell or whatever.
Yeah, the cylinders, yeah, where you just plop them
Yeah,
in.
hydrogen, I guess.
Yeah. And I love that idea because I can just pull up somewhere, grab one, slide it in, and off you go instead of this BS charging. Anyway, if you're looking for performance from ILX Hybrid, you wouldn't find it. Total system output for it was 111 horsepower, or half of a normal car nowadays, and 127 found feet of pork.
Pound feet of pound feet.
Pound feet of torque. 127. I don't think that thing could go up I-5.
It doesn't look like it could.
Anyway,
particularly some of the hilly areas.
a carb weight of 3,000 pounds too. Dear God. Anyway, then they talk about the Acura RLX Sport Hybrid, which is a classier car than the previous one, but still
a sedan.
looks closer to a Cadillac front end, at least the grille. But it's an Acura, a 3.5 liter V6 for a total combined. It had 3 electric motors and a V6, which is the hybrid. So 377 horsepower, making it the most powerful sedan Acura had made at the time, and the second most powerful in the car lineup after the NSX, which is an internal combustion engine vehicle. But it had super handling all-wheel drive system and a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So it would hit 60 in just 4.9 seconds and get nearly 30 miles per gallon on the highway. And the downsides, $62,000. This is back in 2017. By 2020, those figures were even worse, as just 179 of these were sold by the second quarter or first quarter of 2020. Yikes.
I can't imagine what was happening at that point with car sales.
So you basically take the RLX and then you overburden it with an SUV body, and you end up with 27 miles combined range. This is ridiculous. A hybrid shouldn't be like that. You should be able to get much better gas mileage.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't seem like it's competitive with anything.
Yeah. So this is back all the way again, 2017. So maybe Acura is going to pick up their game and reposition themselves as a hybrid. If they do it, we really need, I would give up trunk space for a fuel cell system where I can just slide a fuel cell, a hydrogen fuel cell in, and be done with it. But we need better gas mileage or miles per gallon than 30. It's ridiculous. Unless that tank has the ability to give me 15 gallons worth of performance and I get 450 miles, I think it's ridiculous that you only get 30. It's goofy. 21st century, folks. We should be able to overcome these limits. And for the life of me, I don't think that they're limits based on physics. It's money driven. Anyway, there you go. An article by Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com about Acura's previous attempts at hybrids that were underpowered, compact, an efficient luxury sedan, and an SUV that handled like a car, but had the same power plant as the luxury sedan. So it became a little bit more anemic. Want to keep going?
I do.
So the next article is over in FourWheelTech. This is the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 XRT is a rallycross machine that's so fun you'll forgive its strange looks. I actually like the Ioniq, but there was something in our past episodes about the Ioniq kind of wetting the bed. Now I've forgotten because it's fallen off my radar.
I don't remember what the issue was, yeah.
Yeah, Hyundai didn't need to build the Ioniq 5 XRT, but it's so fun to drive, you'll be glad you did. The article's over at Jalopnik. This thing looks closer to a Mazda or just a boring Ioniq. I don't think it looks strange, but it looks closer to a mishmash between a crossover and a full SUV. Andy Kalmowitz over at jalopnik.com put the article together. I don't know. Basically, what Hyundai did was take the normal all-wheel drive Ioniq 5, jack up the suspension, give it more rugged front and rear bumpers, and some all-terrain tires.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like it's been piecemealed, right? Because of the different colors and everything, but I don't think
Yeah,
it looks that unusual.
I don't think it looks that weird. So it says it'll grow on you. It looks a lot like the Mazda lines, the Mazda
Like the ruggedized ones,
ruggedized versions. Yeah.
the ones with the 50s and the 90s and all that.
Yep. So it says, admittedly, they didn't get a chance to drive the Ioniq XRT on the road, but they did have ample opportunity to take it through some off-road trails in the desert outside of Palm Springs. There, the XRT shined. It's not a rock crawler by any means, but it'll attack dirt and sand roads like nobody's business. The way that XRT delivers power with traction and stability control turned off is just so much goddamn fun.
So one of the previous problems with Ionics was electronic, like fire type issues,
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't for this model.
Yeah. So the Ioniq 5 is the one that I've been looking at as my next car. But again, I'm waiting to see what happens with the whole, well, basically the economy. I just don't know what's going to come of EVs, but I don't want pure EV. I want hybrid. I want the ability to lean on gas, to extend my range and always be imminently available. Whereas, and fast, I can fill up a tank in 5 minutes, and go and get gum and a drink. Not EVs. You got to camp out 2 hours.
Right,
minimum.
you better have a multi-course meal and you still won't be ready.
Yep. So, and they're like, oh, well, it's cost savings. No, it's not. Not if you're sitting around. Opportunity cost, baby. Time is money, friend. Anyway, it's pretty good value, they say. $57,880, including destination. The Hyundai will charge you $56,875, including destination, for the all-wheel drive SEL and all-wheel drive limited. It says, for the privilege of driving a car with a face only a plastic mother could love, Hyundai will charge you $57,000. They say that might sound like a lot of money, but when you look at the XRT's closest competitor, the Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally, it's not too bad. That car starts at $58,000. I'm rounding up. So,
Which is interesting that those two are being compared, which further compounds the fact that the Mustang is not the Mustang.
ouch. Shade thrown all over the Mustang. Mach-E, by the way, I don't know of anybody that's like a Mustang true diehard that will lay claim to the Mach-E. But anyway, I found that really interesting. They say throw on some all-weather tires on this thing, and you're basically having a good time with this. And the reason why I said that is because I hadn't read this article, and our next article is over in FourWheelTech about how the best all-weather tires compare and which one is best.
Okay.
So a YouTuber Tire Reviews put 7 different all-weather tires to the test in dry, wet, snowy, and icy conditions. And there you go. Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com took what was discussed in that video and put it in a Jalopnik article. And we have that little snippet that leads us to the Jalopnik article that points us at the YouTube video.
It sounds like a turducken.
It is a turducken of news. So they said, if you live in areas where changing seasons and changing weather are a regular concern, you really can't go wrong with putting Cross Climate 2s on your vehicle. But while you can't go wrong with the Cross Climate 2, it's still the best all-weather tire that you can buy. To figure that out, their friend Jonathan Benson at Tire Reviews grabbed a set of Cross Climate 2s as well as all-weather tires from 6 other competitors, including Bridgestone, Goodyear, Nokian, and Toyo. I have never heard of Nokian. Then it was off to the test track to run each set of tires through not only snow and ice testing, but also on both wet and dry pavement. Benson also made sure to evaluate comfort levels and take value into account as well. So at the end of the day, there's some subjectivity there. But anyway, whatever comes of it, you can evaluate it based on various metrics. So they say, unfortunately for the Toyo Celsius 2, no matter how you play around with the weighting, it just isn't a great choice unless your only priority is getting an all-weather tire on your car for the lowest possible price. The Firestone Weather Grip came out slightly ahead of the Toyo, but it is arguably the better one to buy if you're looking for less expensive all-weather tires. Bridgestone Weather Peak, meanwhile, was supposed to be a true cross-climate 2 competitor, but didn't really live up to it. As for the Nokian Remedy, it proved to be the best snow performer and did great in hydroplaning tests, but its braking performance fell short. Pirelli Scorpion Weather Active and Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready 2, meanwhile, came out practically tied, with the Pirelli offering the best comfort. So what was if you're looking for specifically all-weather performance, the Michelin Cross Climate 2 is still the tire to beat, is what they say at the end of this article. So put that on your notes and go and price out these all-weather tires. If you're going to go an all-weather drive, why not? I mean, some people live out in the snow.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in a climate where this is constantly an issue, you'd want to do it. I don't think if you have one day of snow, you necessarily need to invest in really expensive tires.
This is really interesting, though, because they came out of the gate with the Cross Climate 2s. It says isn't cheap, but in addition to offering outstanding performance in all sorts of inclement weather, they also likely last longer than a lot of less expensive tires. So those will be what I put on, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe those are well known if you're in bad winter climate areas.
Well, there you have it. So we're going to take out the rim that's inside this tire and climb inside and roll us down the hill that leads to the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmtown.com. Go and check out ohmtown.com. And under Science and Education is FourWheelTech, because that's where I decided to put it. Now it's going to be a pain to relocate. Actually, that's not true. I can put it anywhere I want, but right now it's sitting under the menu Science and Education. Anyway, we're done. Kind of blew through the news again, but we did do it under 30 minutes. You ready to go?
Sure. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for FourWheelTech. We'll have another episode of that next week, but it will be called FourWheelTech in that instance.
It would be.
And then tomorrow we'll have the regular Non Sequitur news.
You got it. 10 articles running the gamut from one side of ohmTown to the other. Every night we walk down Main Street, look left and look right, and walk into the various shops that represent these 10 articles, whatever those 10 articles are going to be. So go check it all out. See you soon. Bye-bye.